A delightful group of perennials are the hellebores. These are plants in the genus Hellebores and include some 20 species. Many of the species are evergreen and they have very attractive, deep green, leathery leaves. Now these are younger leaves that are just emerging and they're a little bit softer. They're going to toughen up as they mature. The plants are also getting a lot of attention right now because they're beginning to flower. Some of the common names for hellebores are the Christmas rose or the Lenten rose, and that's because different species flower at different times. Some of them in early winter around Christmas time and into January. Others flower a little bit later, February, March, up until the Easter season, and that's where they get the name Lenten rose. And the flowers are somewhat rose-like in appearance, and they also are really unique because they nod down to the ground. It's one of those plants that you need to get up real close to appreciate the beautiful blooms. And they come in many different colors. Another great feature that I love about growing hellebores is they'll seed readily, and you can see some of the little seedlings popping up here. Sometimes if they're left under the foliage, they'll die out, but what I like to do is dig them up and move them to a more protected area, and I could raise some of my own little hellebores. Now, of course, if you have a number of different species or different cultivars planted, they're going to cross-pollinate, and you're going to get some interesting hybrids out of these. This is an interesting hybrid that we have growing in the garden. It has a double flower. You can see the extra set of petals, and they're shorter than the outer ones. A really beautiful color and nice frilly combination. Now these plants haven't been cleaned up. You can see some of the older foliage on here, and these are last year's leaves. They also are a bit extra browned this year because of the really cold winter we have. But in the spring, about the time we start to see the flowers appear, is the time to clean up this old foliage. And we want to just prune them back to the base of the plant. It's going to take a bit of time to clean them up. When you're doing this, this is when I tend to notice all the little babies growing underneath them that I can dig up and move somewhere else for taking care of them. Make sure as you're cleaning up the plant that you dig down around the base and find those old leaves that are hiding among the pine needles and leaves. Well, look how much nicer the plant looks now that it's all cleaned up. I also found many seedlings down here that I could transplant if we want to start some new seedlings. There's one more hellebore plant that I'd like to take a look at. This is Hellebores fotitis, also called the stinking hellebore because the foliage is pungent when you crush it. Now it has delightful deep green evergreen foliage that's very finely divided. It provides a nice contrast to the lime green flowers that cover the plant from late winter into early spring.